Hello everybody, it's Aaran back from Screenstars, and I'm here once again to do another review for Geek Legion of Doom. Today I'm here to review the 2018 horror comedy, Cynthia, a film that is directed by Devon Dowes and Kenny Gage, and it stars Scout Taylor-Compton, who you will recognise from the Rob Zombie Halloween films, Kyle Jones, Rebecca Marshall, and the late great Sid Haig. Now this film follows a young married couple, Robin and Michael. They've been trying for many years to try and get pregnant with no success. She is absolutely desperate for a baby. Tries everything that they can. And then one day, stroke of luck, and many injections later, they managed to get pregnant. And then during a routine scan prior to the birth, they discover that there is a cyst growing alongside the baby. The baby is born healthy. The cyst is removed. And they think all is well. However, this cyst is not really a cyst. It is actually a twin, just not the twin they were expecting. And what follows is a sequence of events with this discarded baby trying very hard to reconnect with her sister and her mother. Right. What are my thoughts on Cynthia? Well, this film is very odd, to say the least. It's a really curious film. It reminded me very much of, like, you know, them really tongue-in-cheek horror comedies, you know, that we got in like the 80s, like the Reanimators and things like that. It was very strange, and some of the humour is quite questionable, I think. Certainly in this day and age, I think some of the stereotypes that it projects in this film, I think some people would possibly find a little bit offensive. I was okay with it, but it's always difficult to get the balance right in a horror comedy. Do they get the horror aspects right in this film? To some degree, I think they do. You've got this, like, you know, disfigured, almost demonic baby on the rampage. I mean, literally on the rampage. But it's actually quite amusing to see how it, you know, gets the better of, like, grown adults and things like that. But it was actually quite a lot of fun in some aspects in that regards. Anyway, watching this, you know, twin kind of navigate around. And then you've got Scout Taylor-Compton, who I think is absolutely fine as the lead character, Robin. This mother who has got serious doubts about her husband. She thinks he's having an affair, all this kind of stuff. She's got an absolutely awful sister, Jane, who's like the worst sister in the world. So she's got all this kind of stuff going on in her life, as well as, you know, dealing with being a new mother and things like that. So in one aspect of it, it kind of deals with some real dramatic life events that you will face after being a new young mother, sort of thing. And then it kind of lightens them and almost makes light of it. And to some degree, there's a shift in this film, and it's hard to describe when. It goes very slapstick about 3/4 of the way through. I mean, the first 20 minutes, half an hour is actually quite serious, with some, you know, lightness, you know, sprinkled in there. But as the film goes on, it gets more and more slapstick. And the last 15-20 minutes in particular were really strange. And I have to say, the noises that this deformed baby or demonic baby, whatever you want to call it, really, the noises it makes and how it looked actually is the funniest part of the film, really. It was quite hilarious, some of the sounds it were making and some of the... and the way it looked and things like that. I just couldn't help chuckle every time I saw it, if you like. It was quite funny. But there's also, like I said, the aspect of the film where the humour does feel a little bit misplaced at times. And it's not exactly hilarious stuff. But it's also nice at the same time that it doesn't take itself too seriously. This film would have been terrible if it had been, like, taken very seriously as a film sort of thing, or it took itself too seriously. It knows what it's trying to do, it knows what it's trying to be, and it tries to deliver that and tries to entertain the audience to some degree. It's just a bit of an odd film to watch. There were times I watched it and I thought I'm not really enjoying this. There were other times I watched it and I thought that humour didn't work. And then there were other times I was watching it thinking I'm actually quite entertained by this, and yeah, that was quite funny and quite amusing. Sid Haig, God bless his soul, plays Detective Edwards in this film. A police officer investigating the murders associated to this deformed baby, Cynthia. And he makes about as convincing a police officer as you would expect. And then you've got the sister, Jane, the sister of Robin, who is really this awful sister, hitting on him. Sid Haig, bless him. I can't remember, was it last year he died? So this is 2018. You know, he's not a young man. You could understand it to some degree, but she's actually hitting on him in this film, and it just feels really off and awkward, and it just didn't fit the film at all. But still, if you're a fan of Sid Haig, yes, he is in the film. He's not in it consistently, but he's definitely in the film. So this is a real curious film. I think some will enjoy it, some won't, and some will kind of dismiss it. There are aspects of it that are quite amusing, certainly. So it does deliver on the horror comedy side of it. I'm just not sure if I really, really enjoyed it, but I think a 5 out of 10 is a fair score to give this one. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to call back on the Geek Legion of Doom for more reviews and content very, very soon.